communities, our community and other communities being affected by COVID. Lord, we know that you're in control, and Lord, we pray for your sovereignty to come across this nation and create a revival. Lord, we thank you for all the many blessings you bless us with. Lord, give us wisdom beyond our years to make the right decisions with this money. In your name we pray. Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Water, what do you have for us?
Well, we have Mr. David, you'll have to tell me how to pronounce your last name. I apologize. Is it Jahusky? Jahusky with Government Services Group. He is going to speak to us about what services they can offer us as a consultant for the first phase of the CARES Act distribution.
Okay. Glad to have you with us. You want to go ahead and give us an idea of what you can do and how you might be able to help?
Absolutely, and thank you very much for having us here with me today. So one of the things that we're doing right now is that we're helping specifically right now Nassau County with is several things. There is the initial planning document that the county is still putting together related to the entire structure of their plan. So they have, similar to other counties and structures, they're planning related to public health type of initiatives. There is social and economic recovery, and then they have other categories that are sort of more, things like food stabilization programs, handing out personal protective equipment and other types of things of that nature in terms of helping to get people back to work, like a back to work initiative. So we have been working with them over the last couple of weeks, and we're at the point now where their board has approved the framework of their plan. So as it relates to Taylor County, we can obviously, depending on where you're at in the process, we can obviously help you finalize out your plan, review your plan with you, look at the different expenditure categories, also look at the eligibility and the use of funds, because there's a couple of overlapping timelines going all the way back to January of 2020, and then starting in March of 2020, because some of the expenditures that the county is incurring may be eligible under FEMA public assistance for COVID-19 from January through the present, and then starting March 1st of this year through December 30th of this year, there are expenses that they're eligible can be reimbursed under the CARES Act fund. So there is and there are options for the county, and depending on which you feel is the best avenue to recover those federal funds, your participation in the CARES Act dollars does not constitute duplication of benefits, and in fact, the State Division of Emergency Management has indicated that any dollars that are used for the CARES Act funds that are also eligible for FEMA public assistance can be used for your 25% cost share requirement. So, a lot of it depends on what the initiatives are of your board. If you're looking to set up types of business assistance programs, like most other counties are doing, in terms of helping to set up those eligibility programs, looking at making changes to your website, not only in terms of providing information, but creating a Taylor Cares funding page and eligible services. building administration and the outlying compliance activities that will be required. Just as a reminder, and I'm sure you all know this, time is of the essence, so we would like to go back and start looking at the items of expenditures that were incurred going back to March 1st, and that can be not only within the county, but including some of the constitutional officers, as well as municipalities that we may have, and other governmental entities that may be included as part of your plan as the county board sees fit, and to remember that any expenses that are not submitted for reimbursement as of December 30th, 2020 will be returned to the U.S. Treasury. So unlike what you typically may be used to with typical governmental budgeting and procurement policies, is that you may issue a PO and be awaiting goods and services for a period that may go beyond the calendar year or the fiscal year, and from an accounting standpoint, we can track those types of expenses. With the CARES Act funding, the interpretation as it is right now, those goods and services need to be received, not obligated or encumbered. So that's just one small nuance to keep in mind. And one of the other major things that we always like to remind folks of is the requirements in terms of documentation, staying up to date on the eligibility questions and answers as the process goes on. There's additional guidance that is provided. That's one of the things our team does, is to keep our clients up to date on what those requirements are. And then it's not only looking to see how you can identify the eligible expenses for the first 25% that you receive, but whether or not the county has the expenditures to support the reimbursement to the full $3.6 million allotment that has been identified by the state. So that's kind of a high-level perspective of the different types of things that obviously we can do. I'm happy to answer any specific questions or to provide additional insights as you may have questions throughout today's meeting.
Anybody have any questions? Mark?
David, this is Mark Wiggins. Did I hear you correctly in the fact that CSG would do the applications and also go through the applications to make sure that they are indeed affected by COVID-19?
Yes, one of the things, depending on what program you want to set up, and let's just use like the business assistance program, for example, one of the things that we would do is not only sit down with you in terms of identifying the needs of your community, whether it needs to be focused on the type of industry, or whether it's focused on the number of employees, or the number of employees and annual revenue, whatever those requirements are. Not only we sit down and help you develop what the eligibility criteria are, but as well as the application process, how the applicants can submit that, but also to work with, we have a legal counsel that we often do work with, outside legal counsel to help work with the county legal counsel to develop the subrecipient agreements, grant agreements, but also to have them review the eligibility criteria to develop the necessary certifications that the applicants would need to sign. And we would obviously continue that process if you have more than one program that requires that type of application. If you were to provide money, as some of the counties have, to a municipality or to another governmental entity, then purchasing agreement, because there was provisions in the funding agreement that you fund with the state, that requires certain compliance to federal statutes, and those things have to be flowed down to any sub-recipients that you would include. So it's a little bit different than, individual businesses or individual assistance, but yes, we can help throughout all the different activities.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. DeHussey, this is Luanda again, and I just want to make sure I understand. So if if the decision is made to reimburse, say, the city, we have one city, inside our county, for eligible expenses, we would need to enter into a subrecipient agreement with the city?
Yes, it's generally the advice that we have been provided, not only from the Division of Emergency Management, but for legal counsel, is that anytime you're having a flow down of federal funds from one entity to another, you would need to have an agreement in place. So essentially, the agreement that the county, which I believe we signed the agreement with the Division of Emergency Management, that is essentially the substitute. It lays out what you can use the money for, what the eligible expenses are, in the provision. So we would need to create something similar for the municipality if the county board included those costs as part of your CARES Act spending plan.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, I want to let you know, if you did not know, we have Brooke and Kate from the state of Florida, FEM here with us today also.
And also,
Hello, it's not this.
also John Perez with the Chamber of TDC is on the line. Are you with us, John?
Yes,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, you're unmuted.
So David, Mark Wiggins again, what kind of cost are we looking at for you to facilitate this?
Generally, the cost for our services as well as the county's cost, which we would identify some of the administrative cost components, would be equal to about 10% of the entire award. Our cost obviously be a little less than that, but if you're looking at it to manage the entire program, between now and the end of December, it's between 5 and 10%, depending on the level of sophistication, number of programs, and the number of applications and things that would need to be developed, and the modifications to your website, and just the level of service that you would like. Plus, one of the things, it also depends on whether or not you have current capacity of your staff now, where we could obviously train them to pick up some of that excess work that needs to be done. Generally, what we're finding out is that both of our clients really need to have this predominantly handled by an outside party because of capacity constraints.
Right, so 10% would be the most, you say?
Yes, it would be.
Now, is that for both phases or just phase one? Or does it matter?
No, that would be for the entire program. So, if you were looking at the first allotment, or you're looking at, the entire program, there's really, in our mind, one of the things that we would suggest doing is to create an entire spending plan, for the entire amount. You have the initial 25%, for which you can claim, eligible expenses. Again, if you have expenditures that exceed that 25% allotment, then there would be a process by which you could go through the request for reimbursement, with the Division of Emergency Management. But there may also be other, avenues available depending on whether you submit your plan in entirety to DGF for approval, Those are the kinds of things that can be worked out, as well as coming up with a priority plan by a fed category. But still, the entire cost is still to be roughly, 5 to 10% of the entire award. And it's the effort to create just a plan of 25% or a plan to create on 100% of spending is roughly about the same level of effort. So that's one of the reasons why we suggest to look at, what your potential would be for the entire program in terms of a reimbursement.
Okay, 2 questions on your Nassau contract that you have. On page 2, there's a sum not to exceed $112,500. And I looked back to the, addition A or appendix A, whatever you want to call it. And it had a billable hours thing. So how did you guys come up with that amount for Nassau? Is that just the first phase for them, or is that a total?
No, that was the first phase for them. Their entire appropriation is about $15 million.
Right.
And what the county wanted to do at that point, so we don't believe that we're going to be anywhere near that amount. But what the county wanted to do from a budgetary planning standpoint is that they took the maximum available hours and the maximum rate to determine what the maximum not to exceed would be for the first level professor.
Okay. Second on that, since the 75% will be reimbursable, and your payment when your job is done a certain period of time, is there any leeway with that if we wait for our money to come in so we don't have to dip into our reserves?
Yes, I think you're still obviously to get to that 75% reimbursement, you're going to have to either dip into your reserves or find alternative methods in terms of paying for. So either the county will have to, I'm not talking about payments to GST, I'm talking about payments in general.
Right, I mean payments to GST.
Reimbursement, yeah. Yes, but we have worked out arrangements and timing with our clients so that it doesn't leave them within a financial line, and we would be going forward with the county too, so that you would be in a situation where you're dipping into reserves to pay for the services.
Okay.
If I could, now what I would expect to happen if we piggyback off Nassau County agreement, I would expect that we would enter into a phase 1 agreement with GSG, if that's what the committee and the board wishes to do. So I don't disagree that we need to create a spending plan for the entire amount, but given the amount of funding that we have in reserve, plus we have some critical decisions to make about expenditures very, very soon. I'm thinking that probably what we need to do is just piggyback on the phase 1 and concentrate on that, try to get that knocked out, while we work on any type of alternative funding through DEM and possibly advancement of our portion or a partial advancement. I think that's going to be the easiest way to move forward. If the committee wishes to enter into an agreement with GSG, is to mirror what that contract says, if we're going to piggyback on that. And I realize that we're in a local state of emergency, and it's not necessary to go through the regular procurement process, but our attorney has advised us to be extra sure, be very cautious, and piggyback off an existing agreement. Does that make sense, Mr. Davis?
Yes, ma'am. Makes perfect sense to me.
So, the Division of Emergency Management is currently finalizing what the admin rate will be for counties, but as it currently stands, it's 5% for all admin expenses, including what you guys are covering and the contractor fees, based on the phase 1 amount. 5% currently, so that's something I wanted to say. And then also, for phase 2, it's going to go a little bit differently. You're going to have to do the cost and do a request for reimbursement, so that's also something to consider when thinking ahead for the additional 75%. unless we get the waiver for the.
When we get, we're gonna send the 940 to Cal, I would think, and that we're requesting, once it's sent forward, we can move forward and have the leeway there.
But again, we still have this December 30th deadline, and I don't know if you've heard any inkling of if that deadline will be extended or not.
Not at this time. And you have to spend the phase one before you can consider entering the agreement for phase two.
So I guess my concern is, if we get bogged down in the phase two spending, I'm afraid we won't have enough time to spend the phase one, is what I'm concerned with. I may be speaking out both sides of my mouth here, but, I know, my concern is we don't have enough money in reserve, to fund the 2.67 or whatever it is $1 million. We just don't have it, and I don't know how much of it the board will be willing to spend up front and wait for reimbursement. I don't know what the turnaround time is for reimbursement. This is all new territory for us, so I hate to not spend, money that is available, but, y'all help me here. I'm just thinking if we concentrate on phase one, or we can get that out of the way while we work on phase two.
And any of the larger counties falling under phase two yet?
Well, the larger counties got their money up.
Well, I'm on there phase two, I'm saying how fast, from the state, how fast is the reimbursement?
So we are currently, there's 4 counties that initially got their funding directly from the feds, so they didn't have to go through the victim risk management, and they're already working on their request for phase two currently.
Have they ever received their money back yet for phase two?
I can get back to you on that.
But usually, if it's with hurricanes, it's been pretty fast. Within a month.
No.
Yeah. Can't promise that.
Their problem is, the more people you get applied for, the longer it's gonna take to get it.
So I know that once you guys entered in this first agreement, it took between 7 to 12 days for the funding to be put through.
Did you get that? We got that. Okay. So we have our funds from phase one. But I just don't know as DEM starts processing these reimbursement requests. Giving the money up front to me is easy.
Yep.
We just take in the agreement, you send us the funds. But reimbursement requests, I'm afraid will be a little more time consuming.
Well, I would say, and I agree with Luana, that we need to focus on what we know we have right now, so we don't get bogged down, we don't spend that. And a wise person has once told me, or once or twice, and said, how do you feel one bite at a time? And I think we have an elephant here. No names of either person.
We realize it's gonna take a little bit long when you start dealing with the public with the application. And like we said before, we don't have the staff to be able to set up applications and take in applications and investigate applications. So I think if that's what they're gonna help us do and come up with an application process for businesses or for individuals or whatever, we'll be way ahead of the game to do that right.
Good deal. Now, hey, John, are you still on the line? Yes. Yeah? John, can y'all offer us any assistance as far as maybe helping us with receiving the applications, or, getting people applications, receiving the applications, and then bring,
Yes, I actually had offered that, so, if you still need that, yes, we would be willing to do that through the chamber.
Okay. So, John the chamber would act like the clearinghouse for the application process, and then they could be forwarded to DSC or whomever the committee and the board wishes to contract this out to validate the information. David, is that correct?
Yes, and with, using NASFAW as an example, we have been working with the chamber and NASFAW as well as their small business development council,
Okay.
as it relates to their program requirements and, how they want to go about, setting up that process. So we would be happy to participate in that here in Taylor County as well.
Great, okay. Okay.
So what do we need to do now?
Well, David, did you have anything else for us?
No, I think, if maybe we could connect after your meeting
Yes.
today, and we could, provide you with some additional information and some other thoughts and a potential timeline in terms of, how we would see the project, going at least part of the first stage. We would be happy to do that. Other than that, I don't have any other prepared comments at this point.
Now, are you prepared, I hate to take you on the spot, but I still, I think we need to ask that, if DEM, states that there's a 5%, cap on administrative expenses, is that something that you can set up a not to exceed agreement with us on that?
Yes, and that's essentially what we are doing in NASFAW. So, I mean, when I was saying before about the other fees, is that there's a couple different components in that, but yes, our fees would essentially give them about 5%.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, then, unless anyone has any other questions, Ms. David, you're welcome to stay on the line, but we're going to need you if that's okay.
No worries. Thank you very much. I will, put myself on mute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so the only other thing I need to add is that I spoke with someone from Florida Association of Counties yesterday, and she told me that, it's Annette Graham, and she said that they did have an outreach program where they were trying to help counties such as ourselves facilitate this process, and that they could make a recommendation as far as a consultant. Now, what I haven't been able to get to the bottom of is the consultant fees and exactly how that would work. But there is another consultant who I'm not familiar with, that, may be willing to do this for us as well, and I'm just letting y'all know as far as disclosure. Our staff is very comfortable with GSG. We're familiar with them, and they administer our SHIP housing grant. Jamie, do you have... Now, will GSG be able to help us with our SHIP CARES Act funding? Okay. So we already have them on staff, or under contract, I should say, for our, for SHIP. So, and they helped us actually with our elevation, HMGP elevation grant. But there is, I did want to explain that, and I'm not entirely sure how the funding would work with this other group. Because I was under a different understanding yesterday than what I heard today. But I can certainly, reach back out to the committee or however you wish to move forward. This will still need board approval as well.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, I'm another one I've dealt with GSG. I think the county has a long-standing history. I think we would be comfortable to move into a piggyback contract knowing our history with them. Not to take away from anybody else, but with the speed that we need to start moving on this, I think it's the wisest choice for us to go ahead and move on to piggyback contract myself.
Motion.
I'll entertain a motion for it.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with piggyback contract with GSG with a first case money not to exceed 5% or service take that as we get. It's more if it were to change.
I have a second from Christie. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? And then it'll be presented to the county commissioners for how quickly can they vote?
We have another meeting on August 3rd, but what I'll need to do is, I've already sent the NASSAW the GSP contract to Conrad for him to review. He would need to draw up an agreement for us, and then we would need to place on the agenda for August 3rd. Is it the 3rd or no, the 3rd? Which is very good. Hopefully, agenda deadline is next week, but it's okay, we can get it on that agenda. We'll make it work. And then in the meantime, now we'll need a point of contact as far as who's going to work out the details and communicate with DOC. And that's up to y'all. Whoever, I mean, I know Christy's very comfortable in that role, without Jamie, it doesn't necessarily have to be me. So, but I do think you need to designate a point of contact to work directly with DOC.
I would nominate Christie to do it, and only because Jamie's gonna be dealing with a separate pot of money that we just found out about, so that way we can keep that separate.
Okay. Anybody have objections? Okay. This will be our go-to broker.
And then Christie, you can work with Dawn, at the chamber, if you're okay with that, once we get rolling on this application. Yeah. Dawn, is that okay with you? Keep on, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn. All right. What else we need to discuss today?
We need to talk about ambulances, and we've got Brooke here, and I think Brooke can clarify some of the purchases that were requested last week, and then I would say we need to move forward with some idea of a spending plan, and see how much of that we can get wrapped up today, if that's okay with y'all. Okay. So Brooke, thank you so much for joining us. Again, this is Brooke Kincaid with the Department of Emergency Management, and there has been a lot of discussion, a lot of interest in several items that this committee and the Board of County Commissioners would like to consider purchasing with this pot of money. The first, I think the item that's received the most attention thus far is possibly purchasing a COVID, COVID ambulance for our local ambulance service. And I know there's been some uncertainty, and Christie, we've all seen it go back and forth as far as development, but can you give us an update on that?
So we escalated that directly to the Department of Treasury. They have not gotten back to us at this time. They're going to, perfectly honest. Their guidelines are very vague and also very specific. And the third or fourth point is any other COVID-related expenses the locals deem reasonably necessary to the functions of justice government in order to be a direct correlation to COVID-19. That's about as specific as I think we're going to get. And if you can make the justification and want to roll that dice, that is your call. We can't tell you yay or nay it's going to be eligible or not at this time. I know that that's unfortunate, but we also haven't gotten that guidance from the Department of Treasury. So if you can justify it, I was telling her, there are multiple ways to do that. It can be response times and how it takes an ambulance out of service and what that additional cost is. All of that would be needed in order to justify the reasonability of that cost. But pure black and white answer, we're still waiting for that guidance at this time. If it comes. So.
I have been working with the hospital, or ambulance director on some of this. We are trying to get some numbers to help with the justification of it. One, if we had to rent an ambulance, something to show the cost of it's going to be cheaper to buy one than another cost of renting it out. Along with the increased capabilities for one, not having to take a truck, one of our current trucks out of service every time. We have to be completely decontaminated so it can be isolated as a COVID response truck or for COVID transfer, equipped with a ventilator, which we've all seen how there's a lot of ventilators out there. And that's another issue where if we had a patient that was being transported from hospital to hospital for a higher level of care, if they were on a ventilator, currently they would have to use a bag valve mask to keep ventilating that person through the transport. Part of that option would be having an onboard ventilator in that truck, so this way, instead of having to have two people tending to the patients, we can lower it down to one, so that's another justification behind having it. So we are working on options right now, or not options, but reasonable justification. So that's in the process, we're trying to get all this done.
Do they have an ambulance that now could be converted to that? Or all their ambulances completely worn out?
I think it's a rough, it really goes into a liability standpoint, that is part of the reason why it came to the forefront of needing a new ambulance, is they do have some surplus ambulances that I'm aware of, but they're surplus for a reason that they're not really frontline ambulance people.
Brooke, do you know of any other counties that have put the ambulance in their plan?
I'm looking at that now.
Okay.
Yeah, the Florida Association of County has a selection of spending plans and what people have justified for costs to use their like funding. I'll send that back out after that.
And there's some other considerations, just to be transparent, there is some discussion about EMS service in general. There's a possibility that, there's several possibilities right now. EMA has come to the Board of County Commissioners and has requested a significant increase to their contribution and a purchase of 2 ambulances using county funds. They have also discussed, and the board has discussed possibly going to a third-party arrangement with another service provider. That's a possibility. There's been discussion of eventually having a combined fire rescue service. So with each of these scenarios, there is or is not a need to purchase an ambulance. Obviously, if the party enters into a third-party agreement with another service provider, they would have their own ambulances. But if we purchase an ambulance, then it's possible that that could be part of the agreement, that they lease it from us, just as an example, or they utilize existing equipment and may or may not affect building amount. So there is a lot unknown about EMS at this time, but at the end of the day, I feel like our citizens need this if this is something that we can justify and we can purchase, but I certainly don't want to put any taxpayer dollars at risk as far as reimbursement. So, I don't know if y'all have any thoughts about that. I know it's a lot to do.
Well, I know that we're just on a general sense. Usually we're down to, if we're lucky, 2 ambulances. And they got, I know 5 boxes they got. Well, that's 5 ambulances if they were all running. But there's 2 of them sitting down there at the 4-way right now. One they got from Dixie County.
I'll add to that too, the type of ambulances they are requesting for this is a type 2, which is the manned style, not the big boxes like you see on the roads now.
Will they be able to carry them?
It's more of a transfer style. It's less working room for running and following the streets. It's more designed for county use. There's a lot of municipalities throughout the country and in the state that run type 2 for 911 calls, so it's a smaller style. Just wanted to clarify what they're currently asking for is a smaller style.
Is that the $9,000? Did that include any retrofitting or ventilators?
As the pricing that you'd already gotten for type 2, and it would include the stretcher and stretcher mount, we would have to get the pricing if you wanted to include the new monitor or the ventilator with it. I don't believe the ventilator would be a significant cost increase, because it might be $2,000.
Might be, we got to do a contract.
Well, the the state contract, where we would, to expedite the bill, we are allowed on the state contract to do a certain amount of back change orders, so we could add, just like this, the stretcher was an add change order, we can do that change orders to have a ventilator or like that, so it won't slow down the process as far as buying.
You said something about lights, like UV lights or something.
Yeah, there's different, a whole bunch of options out there, but you can use, UVC lights. They're used to, a lot of agencies that they're using these setups where they can move into an ambulance or a building or whatever, and after, depending on the size of the room, usually about 15 minutes of duration, you put a light in, you get out, remote control, and it's on a timer, and it will kill it. It messes with the DNA of the bacteria and all the germs, and so that's what it'll kill all of the bacteria. And it's been proven in the past to work on other COVID type illnesses, SARS, stuff like that. But I don't believe there's been any formal testing yet for COVID-19, but with the trend of whatever else it does, that's why a lot of agencies are starting to use those. And then they can use that like that doctor to get things off as far as those factor decontamination. You can put it in the truck and get a fast decon. And it doesn't have to be what's in the truck. It can be something that's purchased and used for all your stuff to get from.
Keep looking at first, like, and I know you're fine. On that point, I just want it to be clear that the expense for that change orders, the expense has to be unbudgeted as of March 27th, so I recommend doing a different contract for that, just to make it very clear.
Well, it's not a contract, I'm saying the
Oh,
state
the state, yep, yeah.
Yeah, not our, we would be buying off of the state contract and locking a lower price.
Yep, makes sense.
So, and then do y'all want to kind of run the other, proposals that we have so far as Brooke?
Yeah.
Or do y'all want to come up with percentages, and how do you wanna do this?
I wanted to ask Brooke, we had talked and called her when she was driving here about the command trailer that y'all were asking for, and wanted to explain that.
So, it's going to be very hard to tie a mobile command center directly to COVID-19, because how would you have been responding previously in the past? However, a mobile testing unit, or a mobile lab center, etc., and all the equipment needed for that should be eligible. So that's something to consider. It's hard to justify one, but the other one should be fairly reasonable justifiably, so.
And that project, like if we, as in the last meeting, we did command trailer, it would be built on that platform, because there's not really a whole bunch of the other type of COVID response, anything like that. So we would be, like you just said, we were looking to build a trailer that could be used for rural testing sites, for driver testing, we're using it, and it could be utilized as a mobile plant. Emergency office space that if we had, for some reason, offices had to be closed, and for a continuity of government while that building was being decontaminated, we could move it in as a stopgap measure to give you an office space. So there's a bunch of things that, that's what you can test for, but to design it, the easiest way to design that is to build it off of a mobile command platform. So, and then, like I said, in transparency, hopefully one day very soon, we're completely past all this COVID-19 stuff. It could still be operationally used as a command trailer for public safety resources after that.
Is that,
So I'm gonna sound like a broken record and say, any other expenses reasonably dedicated to, because that is the guidance this country has given us. And if you can justify that, hey, we're gonna use it at this station, that's this many citizens, we previously haven't been able to test at that capacity, that would be a justifiable resource. If you're saying, hey, it's hot outside and our IC wants to put in a mobile command unit, that's going to be not likely to be eligible.
See, that's where it helps us right now, because, the health department used to do tests over the old hospital, it was under Army, and they said, just their people staying out there, the humidity and all so bad, they cut it out, and their people couldn't handle it.
Yep. They
So
do
if
say
you
that.
had
Okay,
it's air conditioned, and people would have a place they could go.
Well, this
to
way,
be physically tested, yeah.
if we're using it for drive-up testing still, similar to what they were doing there, we can set this up anywhere we want to in the county, anywhere it was needed. And this way, we have an awning that they can do the pull-up, they can do the outside testing and the driver capacity, but unlike where they were at before, when there's nobody there, it gives them a climate control area where they don't have to, be in 110 degree heat, so it, using this trailer opens up a lot of doors for space for what we're doing in the public.
Now, if I can clarify though, that I understand you to say that, the temperature outside is not necessarily justification. It has to be more along that we're
It
able.
depends on the purpose of the unit itself. So, if you were to justify it, we need this because it has all of the lab equipment in it, we want to take it to different communities, we would like to test a previously non-tested population, that would be a justifiable resource. To say, hey, it's hot outside, well, people aren't there, we want them to wait in their existing unit, not so much.
Yeah, and it's not, they're part of the.
It is, it's Florida, it's hot, I get it.
I think, and the other thing with part of our justification should be that with the rural nature of our county, like this, Department of Health is struggling to find those sites where you can get out there and go throughout the rest of the county. Because we're rural, we need to be able to set something up where we want, and this is a self-contained unit that we can go anywhere in the county, as long as we have somewhere to park and we can have cars drive up, it opens the door that we can utilize and get testing out the rest of the county.
Well, now you're gonna put a built-in generator and a air conditioner system.
The trailer would be something.
I do want to tell you that I spoke with Tad earlier, and this was what his list was today. He would like the mobile unit that you're speaking of, because of the reasons that he stated, for cooling. He also stated maybe a tent that we could rent if we could not get it in, with air conditioning inside of it. Maybe big top or something, we have those in self-contained. He also asked for snacks for the residents of the county. Brooke, is that something that you think would good for you? Okay. And the business. So his other only need was PPE for facilities. Was that, that's doctors' offices, nursing homes. That's something I wasn't sure of.
I know it's eligible for businesses, governments, etc. I think we get into a nonprofit versus for-profit and elective surgery kind of gray area for all doctors. So that would be something to consider.
A lot of clinics and stuff are charging them. My kids just went and got their teeth done at a dentist, and we got extra fees for PPE related costs.
Surcharge on mine.
But that's the whole thing, so if we're using care not funding money,
Yeah, no,
different than
because
not
all that.
charging, doubling the cost. Yeah, and then something else to consider is county health departments also receive CARES Act funding, and you have to make sure that the allocation of what you guys are spending money on for that, like you mentioned that they already had their mobile, or they had a mobile testing.
They did
They were doing mobile sites.
Okay, yeah, that the funding isn't being used on both sides, so.
And I did not get a clear answer about their funding. So I'm still a little unsure if they received CARES Act funding or not.
Well, what he stated to me was that, did not say if it was CARES or not, but, that, as you saw, for the staff, extra staff.
And I know that's a challenge right now. So, how much is the mobile unit?
Early estimates right now, we're looking at up to $350,000. If we look at doing a bonded early pay, that'll drop that cost down more. And once we were able to proceed, we can get a better idea on the cost. And our high expectation right now is $350,000.
Okay, so if you add the mobile unit and the ambulance, we're already at almost half of our money. Or somewhere around there.
Also, justification for that mobile lab is key.
So not a mobile unit, it's a mobile lab.
For increased COVID testing capabilities.
And what are we gonna do, what are we gonna do with this, like you said, it will be refurbished later? Is that what we'll do?
Yeah, but if I understood right, to change it over,
Right,
any added costs to do that are not covered.
right.
But, appreciate it.
Question is then, when you get this unit, there's gonna be a price. Who's gonna have it?
The health department would have it, because they're doing the testing, what
That means after.
through this, I mean, after
This,
this,
we
right?
can move, what I'm presenting is the issues in the fire department, and we would do it with, and we're gonna work just like we do in the past, if we have larger incidents, or the same with the department, we were gonna work in conjunction with these other, especially during the COVID response, we were gonna work with them, to get these testing sites to make sure it's there. If it was a mobile office type situation, because an office was shut down, we would do it after, we'll be the ones to handle it.
Because I think the sheriff's
And we're
office
able
would
to-
use it a lot, because it was that mobile command, so if
But it's not mobile.
right, in the future, right.
Well, see, he's got 2 mobile command trailers out there. It's already got to be refurbished.
Yeah, and the cost to refurbish that for COVID specific would be covered. And that's gonna be the first thing that they ask is, can this reasonably be functional?
Those trailers are very aged, when I say about these trailers. Okay, I have a question. Doesn't CMA have some type of mobile camper? Is that not something that Department of Health could use for testing? If we can refurbish it, like you say, sure. Okay. Well, what does it, what do you think? For the best?
It's an RV, it's like a recreational vehicle type camper, it's
When you say camper,
not really set up for,
pull around.
it wasn't set up for what the purpose for.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Does it have an air conditioner?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the tests are swapped. So if they have, I mean, would that meet their needs as far as getting some relief?
We can ask. I think so.
So, because I know that we have all these requests already. So this first batch of money, are we going to go through the request and pick? Or are we going to go ahead and decide we're going to do percentages and have, you know, like McCullough County, you have divisions, you have your constitutional offices and stuff, and then you bring in your small businesses and your businesses. I know the board is getting hit with businesses. And they're gonna wanna know if we've dedicated any money and where are we at with helping businesses.
Other projects, did you get a chance to go through that conversation on that?
And I think those are second phase funding things that we can look at, and just like with the mobile
I think that's that.
unit, I mean, how fast can they build one?
That's justified.
Both the ambulance or the trailer are going to need to be started sooner than later, just for a completion time. It's not something that's gonna be ready in a month. You know, if we wait till November, we'll have it ready to go. That would be what I would urge on that one. If we decide to move on either one of these projects or both, it needs to be early on. And I think we should finish going through what our idea projects are, figure out where we are on the numbers, and then come out with percentages. So even if it's small business grants, or what percentage of that do we want to go in phase 1, and then the rest, and we should continue in phase 2. What percentage of, if we're talking about rents and stuff, we think they were going to put that in ship.
Yeah, so there's a separate pot of money, and Jane didn't already say that she felt like we should allocate like $125,000 for mortgage and rent assistance.
From this money, or that's the money they're getting?
So,
That's more money than we found about.
Okay.
that's right, I just think we should finish coming up with our projects and getting a rough idea where we are on price. So then we can say, all right, let's work backwards and say in phase 1, what percentage do we need for this project? What percentage do we need for this? And it'll give us an idea of what we can and can't put in phase 1.
So Mark, what did you have for?
well, I didn't add Parker stuff up, I could real quick in my head, but, and this is straight from the court administrator. So there's, and I'm sorry I didn't make copies, but there's masks, there's wipes, hand sanitizer, sanitizer refills, $9,500 worth of stuff, and this is basically just, maybe that's all it is, mask, wipes, hand sanitizer, and sanitizer refills.
Do they want the station, the sanitizer station?
Yeah, they got a link on Amazon, I'll pull it up online.
Well, we found a local vendor, one Kohler. What's her name?
Elaine can get that?
Elaine said he could get the, what's the name of that one you have? The sanitizing station? Did you know sanitizing station? Yeah, Tisco.
Yeah, just that.
I've ordered, but ours are on back order.
So I sent the, I'm sorry, I sent the brochure to Sarah and asked her to look through it, but I'm pretty sure they're sanitizing stations. And that's a local business. I mean, they don't have a storefront here, but they're local, they're home here, they live here.
Is that the email that she sent out?
Yeah. Yeah, they were sanitizing, and we're also foggers. And, you know, as this ramps up, we're having, you know, we're getting into some questions about sanitizing effectively, and, you know, we may wish to purchase a couple of foggers to use at the courthouse or whatever, you know, sanitizing stations and foggers, and just throwing that out there. That's a minimal expense. I'm just not sure of the chemical that goes inside the fogger.
If it's down, I'm thinking of they actually have a link that says if you buy this fogger, it goes to this chemical product, so it's customized, it doesn't have to fly.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty specific information. I guess I will.
All of Jeff Parker stuff is from Amazon.
Okay.
Every bit of it. It'll probably be out of stock, but, the Uline, you know, they said Uline had those hand sanitizer stations. I checked yesterday, and, yeah, exactly. Clerk's office was the only one that really got back to me, and these are some things that I think we need to look at. Probably second phase, of course, the hand sanitizing stations, mentioned about the screen, maybe doing some thermal imaging systems, like casinos and other places are doing, where you can watch the screen, see people walk in, you can tell their temperature, blah, blah, blah. And borderline, but,
Cheaper to hire somebody to handle the mower.
I agree. So, the non-contact infrared thermometers. The biggest thing that I think would help us the most is improve the ventilation and air quality of the courthouse itself. Chairman Holmes had mentioned that down in Tampa, and I'm gonna get this wrong, wife's cousin had the AC.
My niece's husband.
Okay, all right. But they're putting, these lights in between these poles, and it's killing them as it filters through. So that would be something to look at. Cost-wise, I have no idea.
I can, before our next meeting, I will try to get up with him and see if he can send me a ballpark figure of what we're talking about.
And can I interject something real quick before I forget? I did get an email back from Florida State St. County, and the consulting services that they got some clarification, and we would have to utilize our CARES Act funds. So what they were offering that was free was webinars and just that type of assistance, but the actual consulting would be, it would be $59. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, and that's, you know, something that, like I say, probably phase two, but, I really wouldn't harp too much on that. We have Judge Parker, have not heard back from Judge Blue. I know that he is working, at home, doing
Good
Doing
work.
well, doing well, he's doing very well.
He's not coming back here quick on his time.
Yeah,
His daddy tried to tell him that.
he wouldn't listen. Sons never listen. So,
Well, his offices, both of the offices, have received some upgrades that help with that separation
yes,
from the public.
absolutely, they have,
So,
yeah.
and that was done for a completely different reason, but I'm so grateful that
Yeah.
we were able to get this project completed
It worked out great.
for this very reason.
Yeah. I love the ring.
Yeah.
So then we had, and Christie, I'm also on your toes, the sheriff's department, you have their list?
Yeah, I have.
Okay,
it.
all right.
Okay, that's.
Well, no, it's, I mean, you go right ahead.
We just, asked for dispatch, I think that was Marty's number one, what we wanted to extend dispatch, right now it's in a small room, and the dispatchers are right there, we wanted to extend it into another office. What is the cost of that process?
Marty said
$35,000, thank you. And, the second was the laptop. I was not here at the last meeting, but I believe they were for, live streaming, right? When they had computers. And then, the office trailer, firm up additional space to allow for employees to have their own space, that was $50,000 in the jail. Also, the form of isolation area for inmates, which shows terms and symptoms. That, all seems to be good with you? Okay. And can you give us a priority on this? Well, from what I heard in the last meeting, the, dispatch office was number one, computers number two, and then the jail and office trailer, in that order.
Now, if he has a new computer, or if he has to upgrade computer, because just about every deputy's got a computer in it, of course he can use a new computer.
They don't have cameras.
Yeah, I spoke
They
to
don't have cameras.
Right, I spoke to him on the phone and I said he justified the cost of a new computer compared to retrofitting them with just the camera, that would be a justifiable cost. But it's up to,
I'll tell them, the price of things now makes it cheaper to buy a new computer, but I will ask.
Well, it's got $2,900, so I would think those are new.
Yeah, they are new.
to help the new one for.
Can we, you're saying, can we update them with the old one? So I guess the question is, can we use purchase the webcam? And I'll add that, I'll find that out.
And this was for being able to go in to conversate with the public defenders and.
For a webcam.
I don't know.
that was an upgrade, because he said Dell could get it done.
Yeah.
Get the upgrade done.
But it says Dell Latitude Rugged 5400 series.
Yeah, I think the question right now though is, could they use their current laptop with a plug-in webcam with a mic on it instead of buying a brand new computer?
Well, the other question I got is, how do you justify it to code?
Well, he said it
No
was,
contact.
no time, they're unable to keep them when they're in court or something like that, so this way it would give them a chance to still talk to the judges and whoever they have to.
Attorney, public defender, judges, and other legal professionals.
How are they accomplishing that now? Does anybody
Cell
know?
phone.
They're calling in instead of,
Well, some of them going by the office, they're calling, because I've seen the deputies call their state attorney's office all the time.
you see on the app, it says the older computers, so I would think that you buy new ones, could go on to, different departments that need it. But I will find that out.
Investigators and then the road deputies. 40, you've got 40 flat.
So, do all the deputies work all the different shifts? I mean, do these calls usually happen during the day or night or weekend? They all.
They have their own call.
Now, my question is, the calls, it's call day. Right.
Business hours.
Yes, right. That some deputies work nights, some on the others, on different shifts. And they would work the day sometimes. I think the only other project we talked about was,
some of the increased costs in our public waste program. I don't know how to justify that number, is what I'm getting a little.
Everybody's at home, they're.
So I got a little bit,
So
so I got a little bit of clarification for that. It's not necessarily all shipping fees, but if your healthcare providers, et cetera, government facilities have an increased number of pickups that are due to these, that cost. Cause that's COVID specific.
Okay.
I tried to find on that one.
That's a no. I had heard that the county was actually going to buy containers, and I thought, that would be easy, but that sounds like that's not.
People are buying the red bins for specific disposal.
Yeah. But our normal roll-off containers, that's, it was.
No, because PPE that isn't invasive, so, treat your DEP, identify and those requirements are not needed for a specific biohazard.
Our issue is that people are at home, and that they're cleaning out their houses and their sheds, and our shipping fees are going through the roof. So it is due to COVID, obviously, because of the timing, but it doesn't sound like that would be the criteria.
I will talk to someone about it again and get back to you.
That's not.
That question got justified.
Right.
You know, if it was coming directly from the hospital, something like that, we could, or directly from the nursing home,
Right.
we could justify it.
Right. Yep.
But then it has to be in red bags and.
I think the hope there was though that if we can look at our normal average for this time last year, our tipping fees are this much. And if we can directly correlate an increase, not the whole tipping fee, but just the increased amount from what our normal or average is, we're hoping to tie that to people were mandated to stay at home. Businesses were closed. There was, so there was a direct link between COVID and our increased costs, not just our average costs, or not our normal costs, but only the increase.
Which right now is about $4,000 a month.
Because at home, like you said, spring cleaning.
And that is a pretty fun to start doing.
Keep on members, man,
We're not.
They're at the roll-off site, they don't have the trash off.
Are we paying the guys, these, dump sites, are we paying them having a stuff?
I think we all need that.
But that's another act. We're not in that act yet.
How much is the school going to get this year?
I don't have that amount.
Good time.
You know what? All that time was, I was a big association with Florida. Go ahead and high school football team had here. Doing those days. If they do it, look out for those flights.
But starting up schools, going to virtual, all of your events virtual.
Do they use CARES Act, or did they get their own?
They got their own.
Because they are needing that for
Yes,
kids
the
that
school's got their own
use
funds.
internet and such. I mean, Danny's looking for ways to find, there's not a talent in being active and stuff like that. But they did get their own CARES Act funds.
That is the news we got from the Florida Association of Counties, that the school district got their own CARES funds. Now, I don't know what the funds are specifically to be used for, but,
Are they not going to?
no,
Like the Department of Justice, Dave Walk was in EMS their own funding, and there's lots of streams. So as long as you're not doubling up, they also have additional needs to use some of their standby funds for them.
Call it Shady Grove.
Yeah, exactly.
Got no Wi-Fi.
Other rural counties were taking their buses and bringing occupiers. Allow the kids to come out, I have,
Yeah, okay.
and allow the kids to come out and download the teachers teaching, they would teach, virtually. I mean, it's an option. I've offered our hotspot, we have with our office, take it. Whatever you need. Anyway, they got their own money, let's worry about ours.
Well, again, I don't know what they're using their money for.
I thought some of the laptops, maintenance part of it.
Great.
Economic council, we're going to the public, outside of just talking about our governmental.
Well, we've got some people that, you know, like Mark was saying the other day, talking to Water River Water Management, or Water River Economic Council. They are backwater right now. They don't have money to help people like they have been, because so many people are asking for help to pay the light bill. They're not gonna pay the rent for it. Now, the governor's giving them another extension to September, you can't do it, anybody. The problem is, these people don't realize, I talked to a man the other day, so I'm getting my place free for until September, and then I'll start paying them my regular. I said, you guys pay all those money you did pay. He said, no, I said, it's free. I said, no, it's not. I said, you just been forgetting that until you get your money back, and then you gotta pay back.
The SIP, funds that we're getting will be going towards rental and mortgages.
Okay.
Commercial and residential, or is it just one or the other?
I believe that's under it.
I think so too.
But then you got small businesses that are hurt.
We need to focus on that for sure.
These restaurants, you know, I'm not talking about fast food restaurants, I'm talking about mom and pop restaurants. That let people go inside and eat. People just not there. You don't have to wait in line to get in someplace to eat now. They're trying to keep their people on and water. I think we need to, while we're doing applications, we need to do some for residential people, we need to do some for small business.
Now, when I had Dawn, come in, it was the businesses that I was asking Dawn to help us with, and then I'm assuming Jamie or Jay Mosley will help us with the SIP funding, the
Yeah,
additional
I
funding.
will be doing that, and I think we're getting like $174,000.
I think 174, 175.
Plus the 125?
Yes, so out of the 174, 175, 125 will be dedicated to rent and mortgage assistance, and the remaining amount will be for emergency repairs.
Well, we're still, trying to find out from SIP if we will be able to just obtain free quotes
Okay.
instead of going through the bidding process.
That's right, Bob.
Because we won't have enough time, right, we have to get the bidding process.
Now, how are we going, I guess Jay will be doing this, but knowing how much each person gets? We're going to set them out for everyone?
I'm sure there'll be some kind of guideline that
Oh, yeah,
we'll have to
some kind
follow.
of guideline.
That's outside of this committee.
That is, yeah, we don't need to worry about that.
I think, getting back to our committee, I think I said last week, I'd like to do something, where we define what a small business is by how many people they employ, and even if it's allowed, some sort of a direction in the grant where we say, if you meet this criteria, were you considered non-essential by the executive order, were you forced to close your doors, you were still having to pay rent, you were still, and, people would be off, maybe not enough that it's gonna, cover all their costs, but at least a little something that gets their feet back underneath and just, assistance, I think I would like to see some sort of money set aside, and that can be started in phase one and continued in phase two. I think that would be a good thing, because, we want to see our small businesses stay, and we need businesses in Taylor County, and the last thing we want to do is see any of these doors closed. We want the doors open, not closed.
I think GSD could help with all that.
Do y'all have the Ocala County plan? Handy? Okay, on page 6 of that plan, as an example, the eligibility requirements are less than 50 full and or part-time employees. proof of operation since October 1, 2019, and operational as of date of grant award. Expected to operate for at least 12 months after grant award. Principal location in LaPello County with a valid LaPello County business tax receipt. Marcy, could help get caught up on.
And if we don't, we'll get them.
That's right. Commit to practicing current state and or county issued COVID-19 safety practices. Storefront, bricks and mortar and or mobile. No current unpaid code enforcement liens or violation of federal, state, or local laws. Current on ad valorem taxes, if any. Not a publicly traded company. For-profit organization. And total gross receipts or sales not to exceed $1 million annually.
So also on the Florida Association of Counties website, there's multiple counties listed with what their grant programs are, including small business, nonprofit, and individuals, and what those, so I think that'd be a really good place to start.
I sent everyone a link to that, to that website, I think to that exact page, also, that we could look at the other ones.
It looks like they do a $20,000, up to $20,000 grant.
I think we should just say, here's a round number, and that's what we're doing.
It's a one-shot business.
Yeah, one shot, kind of
It'll
like.
come back to us in October without even knowing.
Taylor County Small Business Stimulus Check, essentially.
Yeah. Did we, if they mentioned those that operate for this 12 months after?
I mean, how do you can't.
Now, how do we police that? Say they,
I think it's that they're expected to operate for 12 months.
Right.
So if they're having a closing sale, then obviously they would not.
One of those going out of business stores.
Yeah.
always.
So they gave some examples of this as childcare centers, gyms, hair salons, nail salons, barber shops, restaurants, caterers, bakers, bakeries, bars, retail with physical bricks and mortar storefront, mobile services, car wash and cleaning services, and healthcare were examples that will tell us how many days. Which of course, if we hire a consultant, they can work out all these details for us. I think
We just
y'all.
need to tell them money. We need to divvy up the 900,000 and here's where it's gonna go. I think now we can take out 125 out of the residential, or residents with, economic hardship because of the extra money that came in. So that's just my opinion now, so that would put them at 100,000, so basically 10%. If we stuck with the 10, 25 like Waco had.
Now.
Not only gives the county 90 up front though, if we do that, unless we move that 125 back over into county for the ambulance and for dispatch things and stuff like that.
Or if they want up to 5% of the overall unemployment.
So 45 grand.
Did y'all want to take the 940, 906 and come up with percentages?
I think so. We should.
Yeah.
That's the most of the projects we have on the table right now.
Yeah. Yeah, if we added all these up, we would have, because I know that there will be more, in the second phase from South Two Small.
Okay, do we have those percentages?
I added the current request is about $787,000. I have the consultant fee at $47,000, give or take. Ambulance at 90, the command lab at $350,000, sheriff's total request is $290, and then court admin at $9,500. If you want to include that.
That doesn't seem much for our small business.
So,
Well,
what about
the small business, if we can, even if we were able to start, but like I said, with the intent, we're going to continue into phase 2. I mean, we don't have to fully fund it, do we?
but what's more important, keeping our small business
Oh,
going
no, I'm not-
down? No, I'm just saying, we gotta figure out
Yeah,
What, you know, the command,
what's the most.
do you want the percentage from the last meeting? The command vehicle, do you feel that needs to be within our first phase?
I think we have a solution inside of those.
Who has to pay for it or something?
It has to be paid for, well, has to be paid for before December.
We have to extend it. I mean, we have to extend the first phase before we can go to the second phase. So here's the thing that I'm afraid we're gonna get into with the ambulance and the mobile home service. But if there's a build time for those, and then we have to wait for them to be built before we can pay for them, it could be close to the end of the entire period before we're able to move to the second phase because we haven't.
We could,
Timed out.
well, if we can, we could do early days on them and but we would need to have a bond performance on it from them, saying that for some reason they hold up, their repayment. But if we're within our policies, if we can allow that, and it would help lower the cost on that.
Would you call them flexible burn?
I believe the ambulance, the builder said up to 12 weeks on the ambulance, and we're in, probably, or similar, maybe a little bit longer on the trailer, just with parking.
So that should put you,
That's why I said, if we're moving on these, we need to move on. Now,
October burn.
you have a question, and I talked to other people in the station, so she's over here. If we haven't paid for it, say we do the early day, it doesn't have to be on hand, the equipment, let's say the truck, the ambulance showed up in January, as long as it was paid for.
As long as it's written into a contract that they will meet XYZ deadline, if for some reason it is delayed due to shipping or unforeseen circumstance, then yes.
And that may be their deadline, but I understand for all of that, because for government, you have to have it in hand at 9:30. Or you come saying, we have to have it in hand before.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of that's one thing.
And what about through what?
We're like kind of cool.
What about through James? Oh, yeah. I can ask him, I can call him after all this, just to cover us, because it's supposedly, this is new, this is all, right, so it's not the same,
Just one of the same guidelines.
Especially kind of like when we do our lease payments, like when we bought the fire truck on the lease payment, it was paid by the leasing company ahead of time, knowing that we were gonna make payments on it, but we did it early, an early payment on that. Would it be similar to that?
like I said, it's separate, it's a total different aspect than what the normal thing is, so we probably should do that. Okay, so,
What were the, come back to the percentages, sorry.
okay,
So did we come up with our last meeting?
so the percentages
They were listed from the last meeting were 10% general government for unbudgeted traded items, 25% small business interruption grant for this at 5 to 10,000 each, 10% training funds for childcare tuition, gyms, hair salons, and restaurants, 25% community rapid response for mortgage, rent assistance, utility assistance, 20% reserve, and 10% personal protective equipment for public employees.
And what percentages do change from phase to phase, or are you locked in for the entire?
Honestly, Jay,
Once we get from whatever, for the difference in fire, we're not gonna have those, and if it all, 90% of it all goes to public assistance.
True.
If we're allowed after that, we'd like an extra grant.
this is moving started.
The FDEM, they are not requiring this plan that is coming up with at all.
We just have to qualify while we just,
Right.
basically,
But it's considered a best practice.
Yes.
And I do think we need to talk to the board about
already got something lined up.
Right. Yeah.
Work on business acquisition, so for small business, what would you ballpark an idea of how many businesses we could look at?
Well, yeah.
Don knows that, don't you, Don, you're still on the line?
Just drop that.
She hung up. Yeah, you know, they're probably 200, with less than 50 employees. You know, hair salons have to close up, nail salons have to close up. If you put the $1 million threshold, that may throw some of that 200 out, because there's companies out there that are making it.
But also if you wanted to add a portion of the grant of funding for retrofitting your business, so for gyms having to buy plastic sheeting, that's a different category as well.
Right.
Not just, hey, you hit an economic detriment, but also here's a grant for retrofitting your business so you can reopen and move forward.
Right.
So,
Well, if we had 200 businesses over the whole duration, and they have an idea of if we did a direct payment, numbers what we could be comfortable with.
I'm not comfortable with anything, because I wanna make sure they're gonna stay in
Yeah.
business for the period.
Yeah, I'm just-
Now, but 10,000 would be a rough number.
10 or 15, okay. What about you, Paul?
If we did 10,000 on it,
How much money you talking?
yeah, 200 businesses, I mean,
That's a 200 business.
even if we did less, I think, like I said, I don't think it's supposed to be completely make a whole. I think this should be a, help you stay on your feet.
It'd be a lifeline.
Yeah, that, I would be happy, I think 5 would be sufficient. I mean, it's like this, they're open again now. I mean,
Well, if you allocate 25%, that's $236,000. Right?
both
Of the
cases are
940
just based on.
baseline.
Yeah, just say.
So that's, right, is my math right? 236, we rounded up. So,
You took out the 5% for the,
234,000.
no, I'm just saying 25% of 940,906
okay.
is $236,000.
Now, that 200 number is gonna be county and city. I'm gonna give you county in just a minute, but that's the county and city. Yes, definitely. Now, the city, I mean, Taylor never really said, yeah.
Yeah.
I just think the sooner we can get the money in their hands, and I think it should come from this first pot of money. But then we face the problem of trying to get the other items that are needed for response within the second phase.
Yeah, especially with these ticket items,
Yeah.
that the board has to come up with the money to be reimbursed the money.
Yeah. So how do we leverage the money that we have in hand to make that happen?
What's the percentage of the ambulances and the truck altogether?
I would include the sheriff's money in that too, because those are the 3 largest per person.
It was 800.
I told the consultant, it's 76 something. If that was the consultant ambulance, it's going to allow the sheriff's request and court admin. These are the other ones to wait until they see.
Yeah, definitely, the one that I had as far as.
But that doesn't include the small businesses.
How much do you
That
guys,
leaves,
you had everything in the sheriff that he wanted? Yeah, and I, it's 290,000.
Like I said, we can talk to the builders and stuff, if we get approval that early pay is an option, we can try to get firm numbers to see if those costs are down.
I think if you go the 786 for those large items, and the 236 you talking about, the 25%, that's $1,022,000.
When you take what we have already, that leaves 154,000. When you take the request off.
But once we get once we spend, I mean, obviously basically reimbursement only, but once we spend that money, it now opens the door that we can start utilizing the other ones. So if we, let's say we had 50% goes to these grants, and if for some reason the turnaround on those are slow, we're not getting that money out the door, it may delay us being able to utilize the second round. I mean, I think we're gonna be keeping the door down for money, but.
Jake, do you have any idea how long it may take GSD to get money out the door, the application process and all that? They're usually pretty.
Well, I mean, it also applies, considers the people applying for the grant, and like the, when you get the word out, and then they start singing, and, so, I mean, it's not gonna be a quick process.
I mean, they'll have to go through the application.
The other question I got is, that whenever we come up with this, how are you gonna let the public know unless you put an ad in the paper? That's gonna cost a pile of money.
No, they won't do that.
This will spread like wildfire, you kidding?
GSD talked about doing a link for the website.
They talk like they would.
Aaron will do it.
Website.
Aaron will do it.
Yeah,
Well, I just said it over Facebook and everywhere else, so I feel like you got to now. After he just texted me, I think, bro.
Sorry.
How's the meeting going?
Yeah.
Newspaper needs some money.
Well, all of you heard GSD say they would help with the website, they would
Yeah.
help with that, so that'd be awful.
Like with the tip time, we'll advertise in the paper, we'll put it on.
The teacher, a lot of people don't have to.
A lot of people already.
Yeah, I think the commissioner said that a lot of
They have,
people
people
have.
know, so, and I know I don't represent everybody on this committee, but I would say that the board of county commissioners, the commissioners made it very clear that they want to put this money in the hands of people who need it. So, now, that was before we knew about the TIP fund, I mean, so that will help quite a few people hopefully with rent and mortgage assistance, but, you know, I would say that we really need to get this money into the hands of citizens, or figure out a way to make that happen.
The top priority, I would think.
That was, well, and again, this is before we knew any of the nuances of how this funding works. But their priorities were get the money into the hands of people who need it, and they were very interested in an ambulance. Of course, we haven't even considered anything else.
Or do we wanna put the grant to the public, up above the rest of them? That'd be the first disbursement.
That's an ambulance, it's the board.
That and the ambulance.
Yes.
And then, if we get those funds quickly, then hopefully we'll have time to turn around to get the testing unit and these other things that we're talking about.
My concern would be having that time period.
So if we're talking about 12 weeks, that's 3 months.
Plus the time that we have to go through, I mean, we have a meeting,
You'll have to
the
do
board
that.
meeting on the third, and I mean, there's time that we're not gonna be able to make up. Even if, I'm not saying make a decision today, I'm saying that we are going to be losing weeks just in the process of putting this together. And.
Are we gonna have to bid that ambulance out?
No,
Okay.
that was a state contract, but the health department is doing testing at their facilities, and they are testing still under the old hospital. The problem with the fallout was at the Lawson Park over there, that's where someone got very hot. So if we had to push it back, I think they're okay right now. They are testing every Friday at the health department, but that's something we need to decide.
Why don't we give the board two options? Why don't we give them the option, it seems like some are comfortable with, let's give them the other options where we have to spend the money on the county
Right.
good, and then let the board decide which way they wanna go. So we gotta make sure that we can get that response trailer justified for COVID.
Yeah, I mean, if it can't be
I mean, I know we need it, I mean,
If it can't be justified for under COVID, yeah, there's no talk about it at all. Because we're not, we can't afford to come back and have to split the bill because we didn't justify it properly. I mean, that's a no-brainer there. And that's where DST comes in.
Are you wanting percentages right now to give to the board at the next meeting? Okay.
Well, I think we have another week, and then we need to, well, I guess we could put it on the agenda without the plan. I kind of hate to do that. But
yeah,
we
I'd
have-
rather give the plan.
I mean, I didn't even think, like I said, looking at the whole picture of the whole,
Put it on the agenda for
I mean, say
Thursday.
I would say put 80%,
We need to-
nothing but public,
Right.
because that's gonna be the lion's share of the money would be.
Do you think we can spend this money faster? Well, of course we can, going with these big ticket items, but then how fast can we get into phase two to get the money into the hands of the people?
Well, I mean, we could,
Reimbursement, I think.
I would think in phase one, you could set aside a portion to get it started. And this way, in phase two, you continue that same program. You just were funding the phase two money. I don't think that program has to, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't think it has to be, this program is only in phase one. Could we continue that program in phase two?
But is it fast enough for these folks? I mean, Congress is meeting today about another stimulus and more PPE, for businesses. We have 543 registered business licenses in the county only. Now, not all of them qualify for this, because there's stock trucking businesses and there's
I think there's,
land clear.
land clear, and there's all kind of little
I
things
think
out there.
there's certain projects that are gonna, the spending will take a little bit, the construction projects, we're looking at, I think, we said like 30 days turnaround on those. So we have a 30-day delay roughly for those kind of projects. Once again, making sure our ducks are in order. If we had the early phase, I think we could potentially get to phase one relatively quick. And then like I said, if with the businesses, I mean, I wanna put, we've got $3.6 million money in people's hands.
I agree.
Don't get me wrong,
Right, no, yeah.
I
But
just,
that's a huge unknown right now.
yeah.
The only thing that we know that we have in front of us is the 94096.
Exactly.
Because we don't know if we're going to be able to ask for an advance of the other funds, or if we were able to, if the board will put, say, $1 million out of reserve to see the next phase, and then we'll get reimbursed on that, so.
Yeah, how does our reserve look?
Right now, or next year,
3 million?
Even if it was a couple $100,000, or depending on how fast the reimbursement is, if you added a couple $100,000, this board would reserve for phase two. And we're constantly just putting the money back into that account as we get reimbursed, correct? I mean, so, but that's dependent
Keep
on
in mind, with the
reimbursement.
reserves, I know I said 3 million, it sounds like a lot, but that, we don't get tax money till mid-November. So that helps offset all of our other grants that we have to pay in advance for and get reimbursement back, and all of our bills going into October and November before we start getting tax money.
Is the CARES Act Monday, is that something that we'll receive in advance? Or is that reimbursement?
I do not know. They just sent me information today. I don't know, I don't know today.
And would it be wise for the board, when we, or for the committee to send to the board that here's our plan, and with, advice from us to say that for phase two, the board considers setting aside a number for early, so we know we have some money set aside that we can start, how we're gonna start paying for phase two, and then we'll keep replenishing that number with the reimbursement. I mean, would that be prudent to ask them to consider that early on?
I mentioned it to them in budget workshop already, and so I can mention it to them again on Monday.
I mean, I don't think we need to set aside the remaining $2 million balance, but issue the whole plan saying, asking the board to consider setting aside a reserve to be reimbursed. So this way, that's how we'll spend the money in phase two, based off of those numbers.
I had even wondered, and, I didn't run this by Marty, so I hate to even say it out loud, but I had even wondered if maybe the sheriff's office could utilize the ones that sales tax, if they have enough, as seed money, and then keep the reimbursement.
They pretty much budget there. I have to look at it, some things pretty much, I mean, they budget what.
They would have new money in October, so if they, let's say
But
they're
they
buying
only
4
get it
cars.
every month. Right, that's what I'm saying, and, we don't get it till the end of the last week of each month, they get it.
So they have to let that bill go, and so that's not gonna work.
And we wanna make a definite decision today, or we wanna mull over this and meet again next week,
Meeting next week.
and come and give something to, Luana, so that we can, so she presents to the board.
I think we should have it before that August 30th.
We are, and we.
Yeah, we
That's what I'm saying, I think we need to have it done before then.
What's your schedule look like?
I'll be back the 9th. But I can do it by Zoom.
Call in,
I'm going on vacation. I got to.
I'll get one.
Before tax season gets here, you're retired.
Call in, it was easy.
You
Because we
put
had
up-
a delayed response too, you know, that delayed response.
Yeah,
I don't want no delay this month.
Delayed response. I can do it that way, I can do it.
What's the good
Whatever you want.
Anytime, 28.
28? 28 at 2
Another-
o'clock?
It's a room that if we had to do another one, we could still squeeze another one. if we had to.
What about you, Luana?
The 28.
Okay, 28 at 2 o'clock.
Lay on the beach, you call me.
We'll do it.
Make sure you got the right number.
But you said, the same one we got here? I'll tell you this, my first.
You do realize they might charge you a fee to call in.
Yes, I do.
Y'all are taking on dangerous ground now, we start
Sorry.
talking about the conference call.
Okay, sorry.
Just saying.
I want to do it quiet.
So we will,
Good topic,
I think it's nice to have it.
so we'll come back with, ideas.
I'm not sure, I mean, y'all seem kind of wishy-washy, y'all seem wishy-washy on the training part. I mean, I just think we need to firm up what the priorities are and move on.
I think, like you said, the business owners, I think that's a priority.
Right.
And then the ambulance, and then go down. Can we email each other during the
No,
meeting?
you cannot.
Nope.
Do not.
You're in the sunshine.
Now, you can, you can email, you and I can talk.
Okay.
I can talk to all of y'all because I'm not really concerned.
Well, that's what I'll, if I was emailing you, yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I don't vote, so I would be, maybe, we need to run that. And then if y'all have anytime you want.
Yeah, you know, I do. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you coming over.
Yeah, thank
I'll
you.
come over anytime, someday. Oh, my goodness.
See you, David.
You did.